Everyone wants success. Everyone wants to live a better life, have more freedom, make more money, and feel fulfilled. But very few people are willing to build the habits that create that kind of life. Success doesn't come from luck or talent or waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from daily decisions, consistent habits that shape who you become, how you think, how you move, and how you show up every single day. The ultra successful, they don't rise by accident. They don't win because of shortcuts or secrets. They win because of structure, because of habits, because of the quiet work they do behind the scenes when no one is watching. Their lives look impressive from the outside, but what matters most is what they do when the cameras are off and the world isn't paying attention. You want to become one of them? Then you have to act like them, think like them, live like them. It starts with your habits. It starts with how you handle your mornings, your mindset, your priorities, your energy, because that's what separates those who wish from those who build. So in this video, we're going to break down the exact daily habits that the ultra successful practice, habits that create mental strength, clear thinking, powerful focus, and lasting results. Not theories, not fluff, just real habits that work. Let's get started. Number one, they wake up early with purpose. Every day starts with a decision. Some people rise just in time to race against the clock, stumbling into their day, reacting to everything that comes at them. But the ultra successful don't live like that. They don't wake up to survive the day. They wake up to own it. They wake up early not because someone told them to, not to impress anybody, but because they've trained their mind to understand that the first few hours of the day set the direction for everything else. The habit of waking up early isn't about being part of some exclusive club. It's not about copying other people's routines just because it looks productive. It's about taking control. When you wake up before the world gets noisy, something changes inside you. The silence, the calm, the clarity, that's where purpose begins to form. That's when your thoughts aren't fighting distractions, your decisions aren't reactive, and your time hasn't yet been hijacked by the demands of others. What separates people who move forward from those who stay stuck is how they treat the morning. The ultra successful understand that waking up early gives them the space to think before the world tells them what to think. They don't rush into their phone, into messages, into chaos. They start with intention. They start by reminding themselves why they're doing what they're doing. That quiet moment when you open your eyes, that's your chance to either choose the path of growth or stay in comfort. And the path of growth always feels uncomfortable at first. But here's the truth. When you rise early with purpose, something inside you begins to build. You start to feel that quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't shout, the kind that doesn't need attention. It's a confidence that comes from doing what most won't do. And that discipline adds up. One day of discipline becomes two. A week becomes a month. Before you know it, you're no longer chasing motivation. You've built something stronger. You've built momentum. That's the power of waking up early with purpose. It trains you to stop waiting for the perfect time. It teaches you that success isn't handed to you when you feel ready. It's built when you're willing to rise, even when you feel like staying down. That early hour becomes your workshop. It becomes the time you sharpen your thoughts, the time you face yourself with honesty, the time you set the tone for your entire day, not emotionally, but deliberately. You don't wake up early because it's easy. You do it because it gives you a head start. Because it gives you space to plan instead of panic. Because it gives you freedom to grow while others are still sleeping through their potential. And over time, you begin to realize it's not the alarm clock that's waking you up, it's your vision. It's your hunger for better. It's that quiet voice inside that says, I'm not going to waste another day living below my potential. People often talk about success like it's a big event, but it's really just a series of small decisions made consistently. And one of the most powerful ones is how you start your day. Most people think they need more hours. The truth is they need more intention. Because even if you have all the time in the world, it means nothing if you don't use it with purpose. That's why waking up early isn't about hours. It's about owning your first hour. When you begin your day early with a clear reason, you're no longer reacting to life, you're designing it. That's where real power lives, not in controlling others, not in external achievement, but in controlling your time, your thoughts, and your actions. Successful people don't just roll out of bed, they rise with clarity. They rise with direction. They use those early hours to connect with their goals, to train their body, to sharpen their thinking, to prepare their spirit for what's coming. And if you do that long enough, something incredible happens. You stop depending on motivation. You stop needing the push from outside. You start becoming your own reason. You wake up because you know who you're becoming. And each morning becomes proof that you're serious about your life. Every early start is a message to your future that says, I'm building something. I'm not wasting time. I'm not waiting around. I'm moving. That consistency builds self-respect. And self-respect is where confidence comes from. Not from talk, not from ego, but from doing what you said you would do, even when it's uncomfortable. And when you live that way, people around you notice you walk differently. You think differently. You're not hoping for things to change. You're taking responsibility to change them yourself. That's the habit that changes everything. Waking up early isn't about being better than others. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. It's not a trend. It's not a temporary strategy. It's a commitment to showing up when you said you would. It's the foundation for discipline. It's how you stop making excuses and start building results. If you've been struggling with direction, with energy, with staying consistent, it might not be that you're doing too little. It might be that you're starting too late. Because when you rush through your day, from the moment you wake up, you never give your mind time to lead. You end up following whatever pulls at your attention. But when you start early with purpose, you're in charge. You set the tone. You become the one who directs, not the one who reacts. This habit doesn't require talent. It doesn't require luck. It doesn't even require more time. It just requires a decision. The decision to get serious about your life. The decision to stop wasting mornings. The decision to use the start of each day as a launch pad, not a burden. And that decision, repeated day after day, becomes a lifestyle that creates results others can't understand because they're still sleeping through the moments you're using to build your future. You don't need a miracle. You need a morning that starts on your terms. That's how it begins. And that's how it keeps going, day by day, early hour by early hour, until one day you look around and everything's changed because you changed, because you woke up not just from sleep, but to your life. And you did it with purpose every single day. Number 2, they focus on high-value work first. If you want to understand how ultra-successful people win, don't just look at what they do all day, look at what they do first. Most people wake up and check their phone. They reply to emails, they scroll through notifications, they respond to problems, to distractions, to noise. They start their day reacting to what the world throws at them. But the ultra-successful, they flip the script. They begin their day by focusing on what matters most. The high-value work, the work that moves the needle, the work that builds, compounds, and pays off in the long term, the work that feels hard but creates real results. This isn't about being busy, it's about being effective. There's a difference. Anyone can stay busy. Anyone can fill their day with tasks, meetings, small wins, shallow progress. But ultra-successful people don't chase dopamine. They chase results. They know that not all work is created equal. Some tasks make you feel productive. Others actually change your life. They choose the second. When you train yourself to attack your highest value task first thing in the day, before the noise, before the interruptions, before the world tries to steal your focus, you build a powerful muscle, strategic discipline. You're telling your brain, this is what matters, and this is what I'm building my future on. That could mean working on your business before checking your messages. It could mean writing that chapter, launching that project, making that phone call, solving that one problem that's been hanging over your head. Whatever it is, the point is to stop wasting your best hours on tasks that keep you in the same place. Most people delay the hard stuff. They avoid the uncomfortable work. They say, I'll do it after lunch, after I get this out of the way, after I feel more ready. But the ultra successful know that later usually means never, that after becomes an excuse, not a plan. That's why they do it first. They handle the real work while everyone else is still warming up. And because they do, they gain an edge. They build momentum while others are still stalling. There's something powerful about facing the hard thing first. It gives you a sense of control, a feeling of progress, a deep confidence that says, I'm in charge of my time. I'm not afraid of effort. I'm not here to play it safe. I'm here to grow. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Because when you focus on high-value work first, you stop letting your day control you. You take ownership of your results. You stop confusing motion with meaning. You stop confusing urgency with importance. And you stop being a victim of your to-do list. You want to build something great? You want to live a life that's different from the average? Then stop working like the average. Stop doing what's easy first. Do what matters first. Do the work that stretches you, that builds you, that challenges you. That's the work that pays off. And here's the secret. Once you start doing that, everything else feels lighter. When you do the hard thing first, you feel stronger. You walk into the rest of your day with confidence. You've already won the mental battle most people never fight. You've already pushed yourself in a way most people avoid. That sets the tone. That builds the identity of someone who finishes what they start. Someone who doesn't just think about success, they live it. So ask yourself, what's the one thing you could do today that would make everything else easier or even unnecessary? What's the one task you've been putting off that you know deep down is the real game changer? Start with that. Build the habit of doing high-value work first, even when it's hard, even when it's messy, even when it's uncomfortable, especially then. That's where growth lives. That's where breakthroughs begin. That's where you separate yourself from the people who just stay busy. Because here's the truth. Anyone can be busy, but not everyone is productive. Anyone can fill their time, but not everyone creates value, and anyone can make a to-do list. But only a few have the discipline to start with what matters. That's what makes the ultra-successful different. They don't chase comfort. They chase progress. They don't look for more hours in the day. They use the hours they have to do what others won't, and that choice, made over and over again, is what leads to results that seem impossible to everyone else. So tomorrow morning when you start your day, ask yourself this: am I going to react to the world or lead my life? Am I going to get lost in shallow tasks or do the thing that actually matters? Your answer will shape your future. Because every day you have a choice. Waste your energy on what's urgent or invest your energy in what's important. That's the difference between staying stuck and leveling up, between surviving and succeeding, between average and unstoppable. And that difference starts with what you do first. Number 3, they guard their time relentlessly. Time is not just money. It's more than that. Time is life. And ultra-successful people treat it that way. They don't hand it out to anyone who asks. They don't waste it on things that don't matter. They guard it like a treasure because they understand this. Once it's gone, it never comes back. The average person throws away hours every day and doesn't even realize it. They scroll through their phone for 45 minutes just to check something. They say yes to meetings that lead nowhere. They respond to every message, every call, every notification. They multitask, jump from distraction to distraction, and then wonder why nothing meaningful gets done. Ultra-successful people live differently. They treat their time like an asset. Every minute matters. Every hour counts. Every day has a purpose. They say no more than they say yes. They don't feel guilty about it either, because they know every time you say yes to something unimportant, You're saying no to something important. You're giving away energy, focus, and opportunity. And that's too expensive. See, successful people build their lives around priorities, not popularity. They don't attend every social event. They don't keep up with every trend. They don't respond instantly to everyone. That's not arrogance. That's clarity. That's purpose. That's how you protect what really matters. Time management isn't just about using a calendar or setting a reminder. It's about deciding what truly matters to you and eliminating everything else. It's about understanding that just because someone asks for your time doesn't mean they're entitled to it. And just because something is urgent doesn't mean it's important. Ultra successful people schedule their priorities. They don't prioritize their schedule. There's a big difference. They block time for deep work. They carve out space for thinking. They set boundaries around rest. They build a system that protects their energy because they know your environment will eat your discipline if you don't control it. You don't need more time in the day. You need fewer distractions. You need clearer boundaries. You need to stop trying to please everyone and start building something that matters to you. And here's the real truth. Most people aren't busy. They're just distracted. They're not working hard. They're scattered. They're not out of time. They're out of focus. Ultra successful people aren't superhuman. They just have systems. They plan their days. They batch their tasks. They use their peak energy hours for their most important work. They don't just let the day happen. They make it happen. They protect their mornings. They protect their thinking time. They protect their evenings. And they don't feel bad for it because they know that success doesn't come from being available. It comes from being effective. So if you want to rise to the next level, ask yourself, what's stealing my time every day? Who do I say yes to out of guilt or fear? Where does my focus go when it should be building my future? Then start cutting the noise. Start saying no. Start designing your days with discipline because your time is your power, and the more of it you give away without intention, the less of it you have left to build your dream. The most successful people in the world, whether in business, health, or relationships, didn't get there by accident. They got there by being fierce with their time. They don't allow nonsense into their schedule. They don't live in reaction mode. They plan their lives, then live by that plan. That's not control. That's freedom. Because when you control your time, you control your results. And when you control your results, and when you control your results, you control your life. So remember this. If it's not a priority, it's a distraction. If it doesn't serve your purpose, it's stealing from your future. If it's not helping you grow, it's holding you back. Guard your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Number 4, they reflect and review their progress. One of the most overlooked habits of ultra successful people is this. They stop. They pause. They reflect. They sit down regularly, not to scroll, not to distract, not to escape, but to ask the hard questions. How am I doing? What's working? What's not? They don't just keep pushing blindly. They don't just hustle without direction. They take time to check the map. They make sure the ladder they're climbing is leaning against the right wall. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. The average person avoids reflection. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. Looking at your habits, your mistakes, your wasted time, that's not fun. It's easier to stay busy than it is to be honest. It's easier to keep moving than it is to stop and face yourself. But that's why so many people stay stuck. That's why they spin their wheels for years without real progress. Ultra successful people are not afraid of self-honesty. They know reflection is not judgment, it's strategy, it's feedback. And feedback is how you grow. They build weekly habits of review. They sit down at the end of each week or each day and ask, did I do what I said I'd do? Did I show up with purpose? Where did I win? Where did I drift? They write it down. They learn from it. Then they adjust, because that's how you get better. That's how you stay in alignment. That's how you stop wasting time on things that no longer serve your future. Without reflection, you repeat the same cycle again and again. You keep setting the same goals, making the same mistakes, giving the same excuses. You stay busy, but you don't grow. But when you reflect, you interrupt the cycle. You break the pattern, you take control. Ultra successful people ask better questions. They don't just ask, what do I need to do next? They ask, what did I learn from today? What distracted me? What gave me energy? What drained me? Where did I compromise? Where did I keep my word? These questions sharpen your awareness. They build self-leadership. And without self-leadership, there is no success. Progress is not about perfection. It's about awareness and adjustment. It's about taking honest inventory. It's about asking what needs to change, and then actually making that change. Reflection helps you see what matters. It brings clarity back into your mind. It helps you measure your life, not in years, but in growth. Because if you're not growing, you're slowly dying inside. You might still be busy, but deep down you know you're not living to your full potential. And here's the truth. You can't manage what you don't measure. You can't improve what you won't examine. And you can't win at life if you're afraid to look at where you're losing. But when you start reflecting, you get stronger. You start catching the little habits that are silently sabotaging your success. You stop blaming others. You stop waiting for luck. You take responsibility. You say, I need to level up. I need to shift something. I need to be better. That's what winners do. They review, they adapt, they grow. You don't need more motivation. You need more awareness. You don't need more hacks. You need more honesty. Sit down with yourself once a week. Write down your wins. Write down your losses. Write down the truth. Then adjust. Because life doesn't reward the people who are always moving. It rewards the people who are always improving. Make this a habit. Reflect, review, adjust, repeat. That's how ultra successful people stay sharp. That's how they keep improving year after year. That's how they avoid drifting into mediocrity. And that's how you can do it too. So from now on, build this habit. Create your own review ritual. Don't go to sleep on autopilot. Don't end the week without a moment of truth. Sit down, reflect, and reset your direction. Because success doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing better. And doing better starts with seeing clearly. Number 5, they invest in their mind and skills daily. If you look closely at the ultra successful, you'll notice something powerful. They never stop learning. Not just when it's convenient. Not just when they're in school. Every single day, they feed their mind, sharpen their skills, and expand their thinking. They treat learning like breathing. It's non-negotiable. They don't waste hours every day scrolling aimlessly, consuming noise. They use that time to read, study, take courses, listen to people who are ahead of them, and challenge their own beliefs. Because here's the truth. You can only grow your life to the level you grow yourself. You don't get rich by luck. You don't build influence by accident. You don't develop mastery by watching others. You grow by investing time, energy, and focus into your own development. Ultra successful people don't wait for opportunities to come to them. They prepare themselves so when the opportunity shows up, they're ready for it. They study communication, leadership, business, money, health, relationships, not all at once, but little by little, every single day. Because they know one truth most people ignore. If you want to have more, you have to become more. Most people stop learning after they graduate. They get a job, settle into a routine, and slowly their mind becomes dull. Their ambition weakens, their curiosity fades. But not the ultra successful. They know every new skill learned is a door unlocked. Every new idea understood is a step forward. Every new mental upgrade increases their value in the world. And you don't need to spend hours a day. Even 30 minutes of focused learning, reading a chapter, listening to a powerful talk, practicing a skill, that small effort, repeated daily, compounds faster than you can imagine. You don't need to be the smartest. You just need to be consistent. Most people are passive learners. They scroll, watch, half listen. But the ultra successful are active learners. They take notes, they reflect, they apply what they learn. They teach it to others. They don't just gather information, they turn it into transformation. Ask yourself, what did I learn today that made me sharper than yesterday? What did I practice that strengthened my skills? What did I consume that elevated my mindset? If you can't answer those questions, you're not growing, you're coasting. And coasting leads to decline. The world is changing fast. Technology, markets, industries, they don't wait for you to catch up. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. And ultra-successful people refuse to fall behind. That's why they stay students for life. They don't see learning as optional. They see it as survival. Growth is their protection. Knowledge is their armor. Skill is their power. And it doesn't matter where you come from, what school you went to, or how old you are. If you make the decision today to feed your mind every single day, you change your direction. You change your potential. You change your life. No one becomes world-class by accident. Every expert you admire was once a beginner who made learning a daily ritual. So stop saying you don't have time. You do. Cut out 1 hour of distraction and you'll have all the time you need to invest in your future. Read the books, take the notes, watch the lectures, practice the skill, learn from those who are doing what you want to do. Make it a lifestyle, not a one-time push. Because the mind, once stretched by new learning, never returns to its old limits. And that stretch is what opens doors, creates breakthroughs, and turns ordinary people into leaders. Your future depends on what you feed your mind today. So from this day forward, treat your growth as your daily mission. Feed your mind like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Build your skills like your future depends on it, because it does. That's how ultra-successful people move ahead while others stay stuck. That's how you create separation, and that's how you win. Number 6, they focus on energy, not just time. One of the biggest misconceptions people have about success is that it's all about managing time. But ultra-successful people know a deeper truth. It's not just about time, it's about energy. Because time without energy is useless. You can have all the hours in the day, but if you're tired, distracted, or emotionally drained, you'll waste every one of them. Ultra-successful people don't just plan their schedules, they protect their energy like it's gold, because it is. They understand that their mood, their health, their clarity, all come from energy. And if their energy is low, their performance suffers. Their decisions suffer. Their relationships suffer. That's why they don't treat rest as a weakness. They treat it as a strategy. Most people run themselves into the ground trying to do more. They stay up late, burn out, push through stress, and think that's what hustle means. But hustle without energy is sloppy. It's reactive. It leads to mistakes, bad choices, and burnout. Ultra-successful people take a different path. They manage their energy first, then manage their tasks. They know when they perform best morning, afternoon, evening, and they schedule their most important work when their energy is high. They eat to fuel, not just for pleasure. They move their body daily, not just to look good, but to stay sharp and energized. They protect their sleep like it's sacred, because it is. Why? Because they understand something simple but powerful. When your energy is high, everything improves. You think faster. You solve problems better. You show up with presence. You have patience. You lead stronger. You execute with clarity. You handle setbacks without losing momentum. But when your energy is low, you procrastinate. You snap, you miss details. You lose focus. You take the easy way out. Success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters at your highest level. That's why the ultra-successful treat energy as the most important currency. They take breaks during the day, not because they're lazy, but because they understand recovery leads to better output. They eliminate distractions because those things drain more energy than people realize. They don't waste energy on drama, negativity, or pointless arguments. They know where their energy goes, their focus flows, and where their focus flows, results grow. You see, average people protect their time. Ultra-successful people protect their energy. And you don't need a perfect life to have high energy. You need good habits. You need awareness. You need boundaries. You need to listen to your body and mind. Ask yourself, what drains me? What recharges me? Who am I when my energy is full? And who do I become when it's gone? Your whole life shifts when you become the kind of person who manages energy, not just time. Suddenly, your mornings become powerful. Your evenings become intentional. Your weeks become productive, not just busy. Because let's face it, being busy doesn't mean being successful. Running fast in the wrong direction is still failure. But moving steadily with energy, clarity, and power, that's what creates results. You want better days? Start by managing your energy. Eat clean. Move often. Sleep deeply. Take breaks. Cut the noise. Limit draining people. Practice gratitude. Breathe deeply. Rest without guilt. Focus like a laser when it's time to work, and truly unplug when it's time to rest. Because when your energy is high, your life moves forward, your goals don't feel heavy. Your work becomes sharper. Your presence becomes magnetic, and your growth becomes consistent. This is one of the most underrated habits of the ultra-successful. They don't try to do more, they make sure they have the energy to do what matters at a world-class level. So from now on, stop chasing time, start protecting energy. Because energy drives action. Action creates progress, progress builds momentum, and momentum leads to mastery. Protect your energy and success will follow. Success isn't some distant dream reserved for a lucky few. It's built day by day, moment by moment, with habits that shape your future. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be isn't luck. It's the choices you make every morning, the work you focus on first, the way you protect your time and energy, the commitment to grow and reflect. You have the power to change your life, starting today. You don't need more motivation. You need to build these habits and stick to them. Remember, what you do consistently matters far more than what you do occasionally. Your future depends on the habits you choose now. Keep showing up for yourself, stay focused on what matters, guard your energy, and keep learning. The journey isn't easy, but it's simple. And the results, they will surprise you. You will become unstoppable. Every day is a new chance to become the person you want to be. Take it, own it, build your success one habit at a time. Your best life is waiting. It all starts with what you do today.